Guys need to control their emotions. Women get a free pass. They get a free pass in a lot of stuff, right? The gals can have emotional outbursts and hissy fits, and not many people will bat an eye. For being honest, um, guys, you don't get the same privileges, right? You've got to have some control. In some cases, it's almost celebrated when women have outbursts and hissy fits, and this is the reason why we have Karens and stuff like that. It's people losing control of their emotions. Um, I don't know. Like, where do I even begin with this? Like, this is a lifelong journey for me too. You know, I've always had a short fuse, especially when I was younger. I mean, you watch any of my stuff, you'd be like, Rich is a short fuse, dude. He can snap. Yeah, yeah. Rich snaps. Rich has snapped. Let's be honest. But yeah, like I remember when I was young, like we used to ride in packs. When we were on our motorcycles, and the thing with having a motorcycle at that age and being young and thinking that you're invincible, you tend to ride hard everywhere you go. Some might say it's aggressive. And then there's a lot of people that just aren't paying attention because they don't expect, something that's a little bit bigger than a bicycle with a guy on it to come flying by them at like Mach 3. Um, they don't check their blind spots when they make turns or anything like that. And one of the things that used to enrage me, I mean, it enraged everybody in my crew, at the same time, but it used to enrage me when they would put your life at risk, right? A lot of people think that motorcyclists are just, you know, dangerous or they take great risks that are unnecessary. And that's not really true. If everybody on the road rode a motorcycle, it would be a lot safer for those that ride the motorcycles. I'll just say that because people only drive in a dangerous way to others on the road when they are driving in a fucking cage. Let's just put it that way because you feel like you're safe, like you're invincible. That's why people like SUVs and stuff like that. And I was I threw in my motorcycle jacket the other day, and we used to keep spark plugs, broken spark plugs, in our motorcycle jacket because the theory was, or this is what we were told anyway, is you whip those at a car window and they'll go right through it, right? It'll break the window, definitely cause some damage. So that would be the lesson that motorcyclists would teach um, bad automotive drivers. I never had to use one personally, but I was told that that's what they were good for. But you get cut off. Like I had my life, put in a position where I was going down a road once, and this guy just made a Yui. He didn't even check his shoulder, nothing, and I was accelerating up. Just did a Yui, and I had to slam on my brakes, did a stop. He came up on the front wheel, almost went over his car, and he just kept going and took off, and that was it. Didn't even stop to look. Right. It- and you lose it, scenarios like that. Like you get mad, you get really mad, right? Um, but it's part of life. Things are going to disappoint you. You are going to get mad at shit. Like I've said that anger is a legitimate response in the face of an injustice. Fact of life. Somebody puts your life at risk, you can get mad. Um, guys that invest into a relationship get married, even, and she goes and cheats on him, sometimes cheats on him multiple times, get mad. I get it, right? But where it goes into difficult territory is where you lose control of your emotions, where you completely snap. This is where guys will go out and they'll say and do and run their mouths in such a way that it gets them in trouble with the law. Okay. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen to friends even recently. Um, there's a time and a place for certain things, but you also have to know when to walk away and just shut the fuck up, right? And not get into a confrontation. Um, I understand the appeal to it because the way of men is the way of gang, and when you're together with your boys, things can escalate sometimes. Make sure you have good boys, if that's the way that you're going to roll. But getting emotional is just it ain't ever going to serve you, man. It ain't ever going to do you any good. I'm just going to grab this chapter from my book. I mean, I know some of you guys have read it. The Unplugged Alpha is on Amazon. I'll just grab the Audible chapter and I'll play it through. I think it's a 9-minute chapter, and I'll speed it up so it's like 1.3 times speed or something like that. Because I want you to hear what I had written about, and I'll kind of build on that and expand on it. All right. Unplugged Alpha chapter. So the title of this chapter is Chapter 9, and it's Manage the F's You Give. I spell it out in full, of course. I'm not supposed to swear on the YouTubes early on in the show, or swear as little as possible. Apparently, that's the gig. That's the way things work. All right, so let me just hit play on this. It's just a quick 8 minutes and a bit at the speed. So let me know if you have any problems hearing it in the chat. But here we go. Chapter 9: Manage the fucks you give. When I was young, we played a lot of player versus player video games. There was a popular one called Mortal Kombat, and they all operated on the same concept. You started with 100% on your life bar, and as you battled, each hit you took reduced your life until it was 0%, and you die by courageous fatality. Life isn't much different. Essentially, it's about us taking it all day long, draining our energy, attention, and resources until we hit zero. Unfortunately, most people don't value the energy they give away, and they freely dispense it like it's an unlimited resource. And this is a big mistake. Many people today see the barrage of hate I get for the truth I reveal in my videos, and they ask me how I do it. Often my response is, you need to learn to give zero fucks. We all, by design, have a limited amount we can allocate to our daily lives. Everything we do takes time and resources. Our job, kids, friends, events, partners, and even the small things like when my child wants me to kill a spider in the bathroom. I refer to the energy that you can spend as the fucks you can give. Therefore, it's incumbent upon you, as a man of vision and purpose, to manage every fuck wisely. We are the masters of our lives, so we have the privilege of deciding where we want to dispense those limited amounts of fucks on. Only we get to choose what is truly fuckworthy in our lives. When you drive to work and the asshole in the BMW cuts you off, you often choose to allocate those fucks to being frustrated, rather than accepting it and saving those fucks for something else. When a coworker makes a disparaging comment because you won't donate $10 to Donna and Accounting's fundraiser, you can dispense those fucks and comment back with your feelings, or you can go about your business in a zero fucks given kind of way and ignore her underhanded comment. To truly manage your fucks, you must first master self-control. Self-control. You know the asshole in the BMW who doesn't signal and cuts you off? You have two choices. Number one, throw a tantrum in your car, wave your middle finger about, flash your high beams before accelerating up to his bumper, giving away some of your limited fucks in the process. Number two, utilize self-control, reserve your fucks for something more fuckworthy, and do nothing. Option one burns up some of your limited fucks for the day and also applies stress to your body. Cortisol, stress hormone, is released in your body when something gets under your skin, making it catabolic. Whereas option two does nothing. Ultimately, mastering self-control and your emotion matters. Those who are world-class at their craft and pursue excellence are incredibly careful about managing their time, energy, and resources. Ultimately, you can't become the best version of yourself if you're constantly reallocating your energy to things which don't the energy and don't bring you closer to your goals, passions, and dreams. Where awareness goes, energy flows. Dandapani. While this might seem like a simple notion, this idea was profound for me. I met Dandapani, a monk, at a dinner event in Toronto, where he was booked as a keynote speaker. He sat there before us, legs crossed on the floor, in full monk garb with beads and 3 white lines painted on his forehead. He was an unlikely character to speak to entrepreneurs running successful multi-million-dollar businesses. They presented him to us as a Hindu priest with an Australian accent who had finished 10 years in a monastery in Hawaii. Entrepreneurs are notoriously prone to distractions, and many have varying degrees of attention deficit disorder, or ADD. They're like herding cats. This monk was there to help entrepreneurs understand the notion of what energy vampires are and how to manage their awareness to be more effective. Awareness, he explained, is like a glowing ball of light which moves around in your head. And when it comes to a particular area of the mind, then that area is lit up, which is where your energy then flows. So if awareness goes to a happy area of the mind, then it's where your energy is flowing. And if energy is flowing to the happy area of the mind, then it is also strengthening this area. In order to manage your flux, you understand that the biggest threat comes from people, places, or things that are energy vampires. These are usually people that will take up your time, drain your energy, leave you feeling exhausted from your encounter with them. The key word here is exhausted after your encounter. For more on that, search for How to Deal with Energy Vampires on my YouTube channel. Mastering self-control. So how do you master self-control? Self-control is perhaps the most powerful skill you can develop that will help you master a better life. When you learn how to manage your fucks and walk away from energy vampires, you exercise self-control and start preserving your fucks for truly fuckworthy things that make you happy in life. How do you know if something is fuckworthy? Simple. If the dispensing of the fuck helps make you or your loved one's lives better, then it's usually worth dispensing precious fucks on. Some might argue that this is a selfish or unkind way to navigate life. I propose that you reevaluate how serious you are about managing your energy if this is violated by my statement above. If the dispensing of said fuck drains you or your loved ones, then probably use self-control and preserve those fucks.
Let me give you a perfect example. I dated a single mother once, and one of her core passions was dinner parties. She would invite guests that were exhausting to be around. My date had one friend that would berate, criticize, and judge everyone, including her husband. Her friend was a typical stay at home soccer mom with teenage kids who also had an exceedingly high opinion of herself. However, she was nothing more than an obese middle aged woman expecting people to agree with her worldview. She was, in fact, an energy vampire, meaning that being around her was an emotionally draining experience. Simply put, there was no benefit to being in the same room as her. I knew that she set a terrible example of what an adult woman should be. I knew I didn't want to have my daughter around that energy. After I received a second invite on another dinner party, I declined, and as you expect, declining the offer offended my girlfriend, and she tried to create an argument out of it. I simply didn't take part, thanked her for the invite, and ended the call. We didn't talk for a few days, and she called me after the dinner event to apologize to me that her friend was an energy vampire. You see, when you exercise self-control, you manage your fucks better. When you become aware of who is an energy vampire in your life, you will be forced to make choices that may offend some people. Guess what? That's okay. A man that is on his purpose in life will inevitably rub some people the wrong way. Remember, if you value your fucks as a limited resource, you will only dispense them for things that are truly fuckworthy. How do you strengthen self-control? It's my belief that self-control is like a muscle, and the more you work it, the stronger it gets. One of the simplest ways to strengthen that self-control muscle is to do things that are physically difficult or challenging. If you're looking for a task to improve your self-control, then taking a cold shower for most people is hard, especially if you had access to hot water all your life. Hot water is a modern luxury, but for millions of years, we've been bathing in icy lakes and rivers. To take a cold shower requires self-control, but most people don't have the ability to do something basic like stand in uncomfortably cold water in a shower. I urge you to start taking cold showers for the following reasons. It strengthens your self-control. It also offers the following health benefits: reduces brain fog and improves focus, improves circulation, keeps skin and hair healthy, strengthens the immunity system, improves energy and well-being, improves metabolism, fat burning abilities. Do you want to improve your self-control and learn to manage your fucks better? Then start by doing something as simple as taking cold showers. It's easy to understand, simple to execute on, but takes discipline and willpower to build. I was speaking at a conference and closed off my talk speaking about managing your fucks. And somebody asked in the audience how they felt anxiety over dispensing their fucks and how to reserve them better. The bottom line is this: if you value your fucks as a resource that has a limit to it, then you will only allocate your limited fucks towards matters that truly deserve your fucks. The cold hard truth: never forget the energy that you begin with every day.
Okay, and the last few seconds is just a conclusion, but I think I've just destroyed my monetization on this video for tonight because the whole thing was just all F this and F that. So anyway, let's just fucking carry on. um, yeah. So again, if you haven't got the book, get the Audible, whatever you prefer consuming. There's lots of great information in that. Go through that chapter over and over again until it sinks in. The point needs to be made quite clearly, right? You have a limited amount of energy in a day to dispense for things that should be worthy of said energy. I remember I mentioned spiders, and I just jotted down a note because my kids always like been afraid of spiders. It doesn't matter what I do. It's like, dude, like, you're way bigger than the bugs. You shouldn't be afraid of bugs. She's afraid of bugs. It is what it is. I'm not going to expend my energy killing spiders, chasing bugs around. I got one of those Dyson vacuums, the rechargeable ones that go on the wall with a long neck and a pointy thing on the end. She just goes around sucking up spiders on her own now. So it's like, I didn't want to deal with it. I saw a problem like this. You deal with it. I'm not lowering myself. I'm not taking my energy level to things that don't deserve my energy. If you think that's such a problem, you deal with it. So there you go. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.